Welcome to Tour Junkies After Dark, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We are the Tour Junkies, and this is the Northern Trust 2021, looking at some outright bets that we like. Pre-tournament for the first event of the FedEx Cup playoffs, 124 players in the field, top 65, and ties are going to make the weekend in hopes to advance to next week's tournament, where 70 players are going to get there, and East Lake is the finals in just a couple weeks, the top 30 players. I'm DB. I got Pat Perry with me. It's late at night on Monday night. We're recording this just after we recorded our own podcast over on Tour Junkies YouTube channel. You can check that out. While you're here on DraftKings, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and give it a subscribe if you're not already. We're going to talk about some outright names that are kind of jumping out at us right now. Pat, you ready to get into this?
Yeah, let's go. I am excited.
Let's do it. At the top of the DraftKings board, you have John Rom at 8-1, Jordan Spieth 12-1, DJ 16, Morikawa 16, Xander Schauffele 18, Rory and Brooks at 22, and Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau at 25-1. In that somewhat shorter range, your top 10 favorites or so there. I will give you two names, Pat, that jump out to me here. You know, we don't bet short numbers at Tour Junkies Enterprises, so we're not about to start now, especially in the this is the strongest field in the history of the world golf ranking. So extremely strong field here at Liberty National Golf Club in New Jersey, if we didn't mention that. It's a fantastic golf course. You know, they played it last here in 2019 when Patrick Reed won at 55-1 pre-tournament. They also played the President's Cup here in 2017 and a couple of playoff events here in 2009 and 2013. But, you know, I kind of throw in the course history out. I'm looking at recent form and stats, right? Checking the boxes and all these key stats. Tee to green is important this week. Around the green play, they're putting on bent grass surfaces. And right now, weather looks pretty benign. I think Liberty National is going to see our winner at around 16 to 17, 18 under, unless the wind picks up there on the Hudson. So in this top range, I like two names, Justin Thomas at 25-1 and Rory McIlroy at 22-1. Now, that's primarily because those are two names that when you get numbers like that, you just bet them. Like those are numbers you dream of for names like JT and Rory who give you so much win equity, Pat. Rory is the quintessential driver, total driver of the golf ball. He's third in this field in driving distance. He's 31st in this field in driving accuracy if you look over the last 12 most recent rounds. I mean, Rory just hits it long and hits it straight. And that's a great combo here at really anywhere. But now the irons are clicking as well. He's fourth in the field in strokes gained approach. He putts well on bent grass. Things seem to be clicking for Rory if he just puts 4 full rounds together. JT, on the other hand, checking the box in approach play, around the green play. He's avoiding bogeys. He's just not making a bunch of birdies. He's making a bunch of pars. He famously did that on round 1 of the Olympics. He made 18 pars. He's just got to turn it up a notch, and I think he will for the FedEx Cup playoffs. So those are the two names up top that I like.
I don't mind them, but you know, and I know you said we don't like to bet the shortest odds guys here, but look, I think Morikawa at 16-1 offers a lot of value there. I think you could arguably say he is one of the best players in the field and should be at that 8-1 or 10-1 range where you see Jordan Spieth and John Rom. But you're getting Morikawa at 16-1. He's one of the best ball strikers in the field. This is a ball striker's course. And then you throw on top of that driving accuracy. You know, these guys, you know, if you look at a lot of the top players in the world, they almost always check the box in ball striking approach and that kind of stuff, but they don't always check the box in driving accuracy because they're bombers like a Brooks or, you know, whatever. They're great putters and scramblers like Jordan Spieth is. But Morikawa checks all those boxes, and I like that number for him at 16-1. He's playing incredibly well, as we all know. So I think that is a good number for him, and I will play that. Outside of that, I like Rory, like you said. I like JT, but I really like Brooks Koepka at 22-1. He's another guy that I think, you know, if you're getting him at that kind of number, you know, a guy that always tends to play well in very tough fields like we have this week. It's one of the, like I think you mentioned, one of the strongest fields ever as far as world golf rankings. So I think Brooks Koepka at 22-1 is a very good number. So I like Koepka and Morikawa here in that lower range. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't mind the Morikawa play. I mean, the kid's just playing so well right now. You could argue he's the hottest player in the world. So, yeah, and this is a course that you don't necessarily have to be a bomber off the tee. Length is always an advantage, but you definitely got to hit fairways. You got to hit these small greens. And if you miss them, be able to get up and down. So, just his ball striking is so solid. It's tough not to take him. Moving down, I'm going to give you 5 names in the mid-range until we get into the kind of the triple-digit numbers real quick here. 2 guys at 40-1. Harris English, Hideki Matsuyama, both playing super well right now. Both just playing tremendous. Hideki's been on fire since the Masters. Played well at the Olympics. Played well a couple weeks ago. Could have won. Missed a short putt in a playoff or regulation maybe. Harris English should have won. Bryson iced him with his terrible play. Both these guys just confident, hitting the ball great. This is not too big for them, either one of them. And 40-1 gives you some nice return there. And then 2 names at 65-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. The guy who should have won last week, Russell Henley, who almost went wire to wire and coughed it up late on Sunday at the Wyndham. Henley 65-1. Again, all the ball striking stats. He hits a ton of fairways. He hits a ton of greens in regulation. His biggest weakness is putting, but I like that on smaller putting surfaces. These are very small greens. If he hits these greens, he faces less opportunity for a 3-putt because you don't have a 70-foot putt, right? A 60-foot putt. You got shorter putts coming in. I like that for Russell Henley. And then Sungjae Im at 65-1 is a player who's won a PGA Tour event on a tough golf course against a strong field. And the irons are coming around. The putting on bent grass greens has gotten better and better. The around the green play has been solid. If Sungjae can hit a few more fairways, which these fairways aren't super hard to hit, I think he could be in it here at 65-1. He played well last week too. So I'm going Sungjae. And then finally, my last pick before we get into the 100-1 range is Kevin Na. I'm loving Kevin Na this week. I went on and on about Kevin Na on our podcast. I know you disagree. But here's a guy who's top 5 in the field in driving accuracy, putting on bent grass, and strokes gained around the green. Top 5 in the field. I mean, and he's playing well right now, and he wins almost every PGA Tour season he wins. He's won this season. The field is not too big for Kevin Na. The FedEx Cup playoffs is when he's planning on turning it up and turning it on. If the irons go okay, Kevin Na can be right there in it, and he's a killer. He doesn't look like a killer, but he's a killer on the golf course. Okay, he's like a what's that animal that's a killer? You know what I'm talking about?
There's a lot of animals that kill people.
What's the one?
Or kill things. I mean, a lot of animals are carnivores that kill.
Isn't
things.
A mongoose really, or a Wolverine? Like Wolverine in X-Men looks like a killer, but a real Wolverine you look at and you're like, oh, I could have that as a pet. It doesn't look that bad, but they are killers.
Gonna kill you.
That's how Kevin Na look. I'm telling you, that's what he looks like. So that's it for me.
I never thought of Kevin Na as a Wolverine,
but he is.
I gotta say that I never thought of that as a Wolverine. Anyway, okay, so here's a few guys now. Like you were getting into kind of the mid to long range, but I think there's a few guys in here a little bit shorter that I can talk about. Scotty Sheffler at 28-1. I like.
Ooh, I love some Scotty Sheffler.
I mean, look, total driver of the golf ball. I mean, you talk about accuracy, distance, you talk about ball striking. Scheffler just checks a lot of boxes there. Yes, I know he has not won yet, but who knows? He could win this week, just like Abraham Answer, who I also like at 28-1, just won a couple weeks ago. I like him as well. And then a couple others here, mid to long range. I'm a big fan of Corey Connors this week. He is at 55-1, great ball striker. The putting is always suspect on bent grass greens or any greens, but still like Corey Connors this week. at 55 to 1. A couple other guys that I like in this sort of mid to long range. Shane Lowry, we're getting at 70 to 1. I think that's a good number for him. A guy that has obviously got a ton of experience on tour, good ball striker, great scrambler. I think this is a good course for Shane. I really do. I like
Lowry
for him.
I like him.
And I think that's a good number for him at 70 to 1. And then a little bit longer, Sergio Garcia, 90 to 1. You talk about ball strikers, and this being a ball strikers course, Sergio fits that mold to a T. So he is at 90 to 1. If you don't like to play him at 90 to 1, then maybe go top 10 at 7 to 1 or something like that.
Top 20, he's 3 to 1.
Yeah. So there you go.
By the way, Pat, this is a picture of a Wolverine. Look at that. I mean, that's a really lovely looking, cute little animal there. But that thing will tear you up. You know what I mean?
It's like a hyena.
Well,
Kevin Na is actually more like a hyena to me than he is a Wolverine.
No, I think
I could see he'd be like laughing at you while he's killing you. Chomp, 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 chomp.
Okay, let's get into some real long shots here, some bombs, triple digits here. I'll give you 3 names. Number 1 at 100 to 1, Kevin Streelman is a bet I'm making yesterday. Kevin Streelman's had one of the best years of his PGA.
Put that in right now. Go ahead, put it in.
He's had one of the best years of his career. He's been in contention on Sunday in 2 majors this year. He's coming off a finish where he could have made the playoff had he not bogeyed the last hole at the Wyndham. He's 100 to 1. He hits a ton of fairways. The approach plays good. Around the green plays good. Everything all around is good for Kevin Streelman. Book it. 2 guys at 150 to 1. Both of them are long hitters. Matt Wolfe and Gary Woodland at 150 to 1. Wolfe hadn't done much, okay, since his 3rd event when he won. And he's had a rough year. But it's just a long number for a 124-man field and a kid like Matt Wolfe with those kind of chops who's contended in major championships, in tough field events. He's probably going to have to club down on a few holes, but I like him at 150 to 1. And Gary Woodland, who is a long hitter, but actually known for playing well on shorter courses where he's got to kind of club down. Not that this is really a short course, but it's just kind of a tweener. You know what I mean? It's a tweener. And Woodland can hit that little stinger off the tee, and he's flashed some form here. He's kind of been like really boom or bust lately. But I like Woodland at 150 to 1. Again, just 2 guys that I think give you real get it done, win equity if given the chance on a Sunday at 150 to 1 in a 124-man event. So that's it for me for outrights pre-tournament.
Wow, I was going to say Gary Woodland. I didn't think you were going to go that route.
I like Gary.
I like that play. Another guy that I like here in this range is Cameron Champ at 130 to 1. We just saw him win.
Didn't think you were going there.
Well, we just saw him win a few weeks ago, and he actually has decent history here on this course. I think he was, let's see, what was he when he played here last? He was 23rd, I think, 21st, something like that. So I think that Cam Champ, coming off that victory just a few weeks ago, great ball striker. I like him at that number. Another guy that I think is decent, even longer out. Where was it? Lucas Glover, 200 to 1. Lucas Glover, he just won. John Deere Classic. Lucas Glover is
He's not winning this. He won the John Deere. Like you and I could have qualified for the John Deere.
You said yourself, me and you talking about him, in a scoring fest and whatever else, you would have never thought that the John Deere Classic was the tournament that he would win. And then he goes out and wins it. He's a great ball striker. We know that. I mean, he's always been a great ball striker. This is a good course for him.
Pat, I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a sip. Close your eyes. Say this out loud and listen to every word. Okay? Repeat after me. Lucas Glover. Repeat after me. Lucas Glover.
Lucas Glover.
Winning. Say
winning.
The strongest field
in
the history
of
the official world golf ranking.
in the fish of the official world golf ranking, and also we're talking about long shots, which means that you can take a long
That's
shot.
a terrible long shot. There's no way that's happening. You're insane. If Lucas Glover wins this event, I will shave my head on the next TJ After Dark.
I think if Lucas Glover wins this event, he is a Clemson graduate. You need to
He's
get
a Clemson graduate either way.
You need to get a Clemson tattoo on your.
I'm not doing that.
On your.
I'm not doing that. I'll shave my head. A few top 20 bombs that I like. You mentioned Garcia, he's a 3-1. I mentioned 3-1. Strillman is 4-1. I mean, that's a lock. So those are some top 20 numbers. Pat, let me give you 3 matchups. We'll end with this. 3 matchups. Tell me what you think. These are underdog matchups on DK Sportsbook that grabbed my attention. The first one, Daniel Berger is plus 100 against Abraham Answer at minus 120.
I like them both, but I like Berger just a little bit more, so I will go with Berger in that matchup.
Couldn't agree more. I do like them both. Berger at plus money, the way he's been going is good. I think you take that. What about this one? Colin Morikawa plus 125 versus John Rom minus 155. John Rom, the number 1 player in the world. I believe Morikawa is very close. He's 2 or 3 or 4. I think he's got a chance to be number 1, depending on what he does. You could make an argument that these guys are like 1A and 1B best players in the world, and you're getting Morikawa at plus 125. What are you doing there?
I think one of the things you talk about, or we should talk about when it comes to betting, is you know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and you know what? I'm folding them on this one. I'm staying away from this one.
I think I'm taking it, man. 125 to plus 125 to plus 125 on Morikawa is too good. I'm just I have to take it. Now this bet, I already know the answer to, because you and I disagreed on it on our own show. We spun our wheel of bet punishments, and whoever loses this bet is going to have to take a bite out of a raw onion, chew it up, and swallow it on next week's Tour Junkies show. Kevin Na plus 100 against Cameron Tringali minus 120. Who you like?
Tringali.
Yeah, we know. I have the Kevin Na side of that bet. We're going head-to-head. I think Kevin Na is going to take it down. Whoever loses that bet's going to be taking a big bite out of a raw onion, chewing it, swallowing it on the Tour Junkies show next week. So thank you, and thank you to DK Sportsbook. We hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hit some bets. Have some fun for the Northern Trust. It's the best tournament, one of the best tournaments of the year. It really is. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a subscribe. And have a great week. May your screens be green. See ya.
Out.